So after day one of free agency, the Jaguars were spending money like crazy, shopping for all these different guys, and we really loaded up the shopping cart. And then it looks like we had a lot of purchases and we needed to go back home and return some stuff in order to free up some of our money. And that's exactly what happened. And this one is an emotional one, man. Not many players on these Jaguars can the team actually cut and really kind of hit me in the feels. And the Jaguars today decided to go ahead and cut linebacker Myles Jack. Now, Myles Jack has been with the Jaguars since 2016. He was a part of that legendary draft class with Jalen Ramsey, Myles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue. I still remember the day the Jaguars drafted Myles Jack before I even had a YouTube channel back when I was in college. And I just remember Fred Taylor coming up there announcing Myles Jack to the Jaguars very, very slow. And I just went absolutely crazy because he was my big draft crush of 2016. And he went through Doug Marrone. He went through Gus Bradley, then Doug Marrone, then Urban Meyer, and then it does not look like he survived the Doug Peterson era. And it's really sad with Myles Jack because, like the whole Myles Jack wasn't down thing. And then obviously you go back and I hate this for Myles Jack because like it just feels like he went through so many bad periods with the Jaguars. And when these players go through that, I do want ultimately for them to actually win some games. Like when Paul Posluszny was here, the Jaguars finally had that winning season with him, and that's one of the guys that you look at that says this guy has been through some bad times with the Jaguars. I'm so happy that we were able to finally pull out some wins for this guy. It just makes you feel a lot better about yourself. But Myles Jack will not have that opportunity. Now, Myles Jack really, the Jaguars played him in all kinds of different positions, man. Like he started off, he was the strong side linebacker. Then he moved over to weak side. Then he was like a middle linebacker. He went from calling plays to not calling plays. Went from 4-3 defense to 3-4 defense. And really his Jaguar career has been super up and down. He and unfortunately, the last couple years they've been a little bit down, especially last year. He didn't have a very good year last year, and but if I'm looking at it from Myles Jack's perspective, I like to think that maybe this is a good move for him personally because because his best role is to be the weak side linebacker in a 4-3 defense. That's where he's at his best. And the Jaguars, unfortunately, maybe the 3-4 defenses didn't fit him very well. I remember him saying like, "Look, I was so excited to meet the new defensive coordinator. I gave him a call. Like I met with him personally. So they've had a lot of one-on-ones. Him and our new defensive coordinator, Mike Caldwell. But at the end of the day, I guess, signing Foyer, we all thought Foyer was going to be a Damian Wilson replacement, but instead it's a Myles Jack replacement, most likely. And Damian Wilson may very well be sticking to that middle linebacker spot. And when we signed Foyer, it confused me a little bit because I said, look, I like our linebackers. Damian Wilson, I thought, had a pretty good year. I mean, he knows the defense pretty well. He adds, of course, Foyer has a lot more speed than Damian Wilson. I thought Damian Wilson was pretty decent for what we needed. But it looks like Damian Wilson is probably here to stay, and Myles Jack will be the weak side linebacker. Or not Myles Jack, but Foyer will be the weak side linebacker. So with Myles Jack, like I said, it's extremely emotional. I'm not over the moon about it, but I do want to look at it from Myles Jack's perspective and really think that this is the best for him. And I really hope he can go out there and, he's one of the guys. There's not a lot of players that I actively root for when they leave the Jaguars because, it just is what it is. But Myles Jack, I've met him a few times. He's like a really, really good person. And I wish the best for good people. Because I've met players, they've been jerks, they've been, I'm too good for you type of stuff. But Myles Jack is not that, man. And, he's a guy that I will be actively rooting for. Just hopefully he doesn't land anywhere in the AFC South. But yeah, I mean, thanks for all the memories, Myles Jack. I wish it could have worked out better for us where you could have been a lifelong Jaguar. But unfortunately, we don't like to do that with players. So With all that said, let me know what you guys think of the move. I don't know if this is going to free up $8.35 million in 2022 and $11.5 million in 2023. We'll see if the Jaguars continue to make moves. I'm not sure, they still have some cap room left, so we'll continue to, of course, monitor the situation. With all that said, Myles Jack wasn't down, and go Jags.